Hello, John 6 verse 28 continues. Then they ask him, what must we do to do the works God requires? Jesus answered, the work of God is this: believe in the one he has sent. And it pretty much sums up the gospel, the good news. There is no saving without faith. You are not going to be given pass into the kingdom of heaven without grace, which comes through faith. And you might think it's a good thing, you might think it's a bad thing. I think it depends on your background, because some people find peace, find solace, find it calming that they have to go through certain motions. I remember learning about it in level 4 when I started college, that there are certain tribes, certain worldviews where it's really hard to evangelize because they have so many external things. They have to go through so many things. They are required to do so many things which they find peace in, that it's really hard to get them to accept that there's nothing they have to do to earn salvation. And I don't know if I mentioned it already, but I remember reading this in a book that there's a huge difference between trying to evangelize the East and the West, because in the West people have no problem accepting grace through faith. However, they don't really like the notion that God is wrathful, God hates sin, God will punish the sinners. East, however, they have no, because it's a shame and honor culture, so they have no problem accepting the notion that God is wrathful, God hates sin, God will punish the evildoers. But grace through faith, salvation through grace, it's really difficult for them to accept. It's really difficult to accept that they would get something for nothing except faith, which I understand is not nothing, but in terms of doing anything, there's no requirement for them to do any works. So verse 30 continues, so they ask him, what sign then will you give that we may see it and believe you? What will you do? See, it made no difference whatsoever what they saw Jesus do. The miracles he did, feeding the people, the things he was saying. They didn't want to accept those things. I listened to a conversation between a famous psychiatrist's daughter. The psychiatrist's name is Jordan Peterson. You might have heard me mention him. And she said that she had some problems. She couldn't deal with those problems. It seemed like almost impossible to deal with those things. And then somebody said to her, a Christian, that why don't you just pray to God? Why don't you? And she goes like, I don't understand what it is I have to do. And she said, this gentleman said that, has God to reveal himself to you. She goes home, she prays, wakes up next morning, and she has this amazing inner peace that she'd never experienced before. And all her issues were solved on the same day, all 4 problems. She goes like, it made sense the way they were solved, but it was just sort of spooky. And then from that point she started believing in God. But a few weeks down the line she started having doubts. She started thinking about those things, and she said, oh, was it God? Or was it just a freak accident that all those things were solved and all my problems disappeared on the same day? And this is what happened. And so what I want to bring out of this is, if you base your faith on miracles, I have to tell you that she kept carry on praying. So she still has a relationship with God, but it just takes time to build. But if you base your faith on miracles and things you see God perform in your life, you won't last. You have to base your faith on your relationship with God. That's the most important thing, and that's what you have to cultivate. Amen.